आपकी जो भागीदारी है उसको आपसे छीनना चाहते हैं। जो मोदी जी चाहते हैं हो जाए, तो जो छोटे स्टेट्स हैं, साउथ के स्टेट्स हैं और नॉर्थ ईस्ट के स्टेट्स हैं, उनका रिप्रेजेंटेशन कम हो जाए, उनको भयंकर नुकसान होने वाला है। और मैं इसको एंटी नेशनल एक्टिविटी,
परिसीमन बड़ा खतरनाक है। गृह मंत्री ने कहा है, अनेक मंत्रियों ने कहा है कि लोकसभा 50% ज्यादा बढ़ाया जाएगा और उसके साथ साथ समानुपातिक तरीके से सभी राज्यों के सीटें बढ़ाई जाएंगी लोकसभा में। वो कहीं इस विधेयक में शामिल नहीं है। कई राज्यों का प्रपोर्शन घटेगा। दक्षिण भारत, उत्तर पश्चिमी भारत, पूर्वी भारत, छोटे छोटे राज्यों का रेशो घटेगा, प्रपोर्शन घटेगा।
গণতন্ত্রে একটা ভোট দিয়ে এবার নেবেন বদলা। তার কারণ যদি না করেন আগামী দিন এই বাজেট এই মাসেই ডিলিমিটেশন বিল নিয়ে আসছে, টুকরো টুকরো করে দেবে আপনাদের, বাংলাকে ভাগ করে দেবে 1 নম্বর, 2 নম্বরের পর এনআরসি করবে।
महिला आरक्षण के आड़ में आप देश का पॉलिटिकल मैप बदलने जा रहे हैं, लेकिन इस चक्कर में देश का मैप बदल जाएगा। जिस तरह से दक्षिण के राज्यों ने इशारा दिया है केंद्र सरकार को, तो मुझे डर लगता है कि इस बहाने मणिपुर जैसी स्थिति दक्षिण के राज्य में न हो जाए।
Viewers, did you hear that? Rahul Gandhi calls it Hisa Chori, seat theft, just like vote Chori. Now it's a strong word, sounds dramatic when you say Hisa Chori, but let me ask you something. Where exactly is this theft? Because when you look at the numbers, when you apply simple arithmetic, when you use the most basic common sense, viewers, there is no chori. There is just open fear mongering. Lok Sabha, as you know, is set to expand from 543 seats to approximately 850 seats. That is a massive increase. And the government has made one thing crystal clear. Every single state will get a 50% increase in the seats. Not some states, not only northern states, every state. Tamil Nadu gets more seats, Kerala gets more seats, Karnataka gets more seats, Andhra gets more seats, Telangana gets more seats. So where is this loss? Where is the injustice? Where exactly is the Hissa Chori as Rahul Gandhi has posted? It will be 50% more seats for all states. But viewers, I'm amazed that Rahul Gandhi says Hissa Chori. Rahul Gandhi leads a party that drafted the original delimitation freeze in 1976 under the emergency, viewers. The very freeze that caused this imbalance in the first place. It was the Congress party that froze delimitation decades ago, precisely to avoid this political inconvenience. And now the same family, the same party is standing up and crying foul about the consequences of their own decisions. And viewers, let's talk about southern states for a moment, because that is where the fear is being deliberately seeded. People are being told your voice will be diluted. Your states will be punished for being responsible. But I'll tell you the truth. Tamil Nadu today has 39 seats. Under the 50% formula, Tamil Nadu will get 50% more seats. Kerala has 20 seats today, it will get 50% more seats. Karnataka has 28 seats, it will get 50% more. Not a single southern state is losing a single seat. So when someone tells you that South is being robbed, they are misleading you, viewers. If every state is getting more seats, who exactly is stealing whose share? Delimitation debate is not about North versus South. It is about truth versus fear. And let's open this up. Sanju Verma, the national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Tariq Khan, the national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Ashwini Kumar Mishra, leader of the Congress, Mr. C. Rajshekharan, Dr. Santosh Mehrotra, senior economist, Tushar Gupta completes the panel. Trishant from the BRS will be with us shortly. Dr. Mehrotra, before I come to you, let me quickly ask Ashwini ji of the Congress one simple question. Rahul Gandhi, after saying vote Chori, he has coined another term, Hisa Chori. Ashwini ji, whose Hissa is being robbed?
Pranesh, good evening to you, your viewers and fellow panelists. I think जिसकी हिस्सेदारी होनी चाहिए थी, as per the current state, जो हिस्सेदारी है, if you are going to have it based on the census, based on the population, then all those states who worked really hard to follow the government policy की बच्चे दो ही अच्छे, दो RSS से बच्चे ज़्यादा करो, तो I think those BJP ruled state which followed RSS strategies and had more kids, more population will definitely have an advantage, because we are speaking that the delimitation will be based on the number of people a state would have, number of census, not straight away 50%. It is not right away 50%. We are telling that it is a prospective that mostly people will get 50% more seats, but if it is going to be based on the number of people or number of population of each state, then definitely the states with higher population going to get an advantage, and the winnability in those states probably will decide who sits in center. So it is an unfair advantage to those states. We are not against women reservation, we are not against any sort of reservation, but linking it to census, which is not clear how it's going to happen.
When it is not clear, Ashwini ji, precisely, when it is not clear, where is this 2011 figure in the draft bill? आपने पढ़ी तो होगी, नहीं पढ़ी है तो भी देख लीजिए, उसमें कंट्रोल F करके देखिए, कहीं 2011 है, ये आपके मन में है. And let me ask you what the Congress has done. आप जो ये population control पे भी इतनी बड़ी बातें कर रहे हैं, should we hold the Congress responsible for betraying the southern states then? Forced sterilization drive चला दिया था उन्होंने.
Friends, don't indulge into what about race.
Then
these states followed
I gave you what you started. So let's not go there. आप ये बताइए, let's talk on facts. बिल में कहीं 2011 मेंशन है? आप बताइए, कहीं मेंशन है तो बता दीजिए. It will be news to me. जो मुझे नहीं मिला. Now let me bring in Dr. Mehrotra. He's really the highlight of the panel. Dr. Mehrotra, you've written a piece. It runs into pages. Obviously the writing is good. You are saying Modi government's 3 delimitation bills made Parliament and India's future uncertain. Who called and told you that India's future will be uncertain after the 3 bills?
So it's not your business to know who called me, and no one called me, let me inform you, although you're not asking me that. Since you've asked me that, I'm telling you that no one called me.
Great.
I have to tell you that I'm a professor in JNU, I'm a professor in the United States as well as in the UK. So please don't tell me
that
someone
does not help the case. You'll have to explain what you've written. Dr. Mehrotra, it's only the first question. Don't get agitated.
Do not go personal. Let's keep this calm and focused on the subject, okay? Let's keep this focused. So let me pick up on what you have told us.
Because you are a professor in the United States. Let's start with what you've written. Dr. Mehrotra, now, sir, please, I have great regards for you, Dr. Mehrotra, please.
You have told us, in the 10 minutes that you've had, you've told us that every single state is going to get 50% increase. Where have you seen that written down in any of the 3 bills?
I'll tell you, that is what the government is telling us. The sources in the government, sir, once a second, sir, just calm down first of all, Dr. Mehrotra, don't get agitated. Let's not talk over each other, please. We're just wasting time. We are in the business of disseminating news. Top sources in the government have told us that this is going to be the formula. 50% for all states. Now, on what formula have you based your piece on?
I'm going to tell you if you care to listen and if you don't interrupt me while I'm speaking. Can I have that promise, sir? Thank you. Okay. So let me just inform you and your viewers that the constitutional, that if you go and use the 50%, let's assume that actually it is going to be 50% increase. Okay. For each state. 50% house increase is no question. It's already been announced. It's in the bill. For each state. Let's just assume that we should believe that. You know what the outcome of that is going to be? The outcome of that is going to be as follows. That currently Kerala is 20, it will go to 30. UP is 80, it will go to 120. Currently the gap between Kerala and UP is 60. That increase will be 90 now because it's 120 minus 30. Okay? The implication of all this is the following, that if you were to go by 6 Hindi belt states, all of which are ruled by the BJP, their current share is 36% of 543. Their share will rise to 40.2%. And the 5 southern states, their share currently is 24%. And that will fall to 20.6%. That's the outcome. That's the outcome you're going to see. Now, bottom line is, the real issue is, why are 3 things being mixed up? Women's reservation, delimitation, and census. When a census is on, currently, and the Act itself says, the Women's Reservation Act itself says, and the Delimitation Act says that it will happen after the first census of 2026. The first census of after 2026 is happening now. It's going to be finished in 27, the early 28. The data will be out. The RGI has already told us that because we are collecting data using tablets, that all the information will be available within 4 months. And the National Sample Survey has actually proved that this is possible and it can be done. So there is absolutely no reason to use 15-year-old data, which is 15-year-old data now, and to
I'll tell you, sir. I'll tell you. For an exercise like the census, what is more important, speed or accuracy?
You will have speed and accuracy when you use the tablet.
Okay. Now, you began by saying, Dr. Mehrotra, that, the BJP is ruling all Hindi belt states. You gave the example of Kerala that has 20 seats currently. With this 50% formula, it will go to 30. I would, want you to answer, what was the rationale by which the Congress kept the 1971 count frozen? Why did the Congress do it? How many states were they in power?
I'm sorry, you don't even have the facts. It hasn't been kept frozen. In 2001, who was in power? It was the NDA, with a prime minister of the BJP, an ex-RSS man who was the prime minister. It was his decision and his government's decision to postpone it by 25 years. So why was it postponed? I think for the knowledge of your panel and also your audience, it should be explained why. It was.
But Dr. Mehrotra, what comes first, 1971 or 2001?
Constitutional amendment के बारे में बात कर सकता हूँ प्रणेश जी?
Of course कर सकते हैं सर, आपको बात करने के लिए बोला है, लेकिन आपको बात करने के लिए इसीलिए नहीं, पूरा आपको freedom है, but this thing that I teach in the United States of America, so give me a free run. That's not happening. Okay, let's go one by one. You've made your point, sir. You've made your point. Tushar, what do you think of? I'm sure you've read the piece. I read the piece twice, not because of bad comprehension, because I really liked it. This is an exercise in creative writing.
Good evening, Pranesh. Look, I just heard some mathematics told to us as some reformed sort of analysis. The difference between Kerala and UP will increase by 30 to 90 from 60. I mean, the number of Lok Sabha seats are also going to increase from 543 to 850. That's more than 300 increase. So I don't know what sort of, mathematical magic is being sold to us here. Point number 2, why is this narrative about Hindi belt states versus southern states? Why is Mr. Mehrotra being very selective as an analysis? Today, Kerala has 16 lakh people on average represented by one single MP. However, in Telangana, that number is around 20 lakh. 20 lakh for one MP. You go to West Bengal, another state where the BJP is not in power, 21 lakh. You go to Jharkhand, another state where the BJP is not in power, 23 lakh people represented by one MP. So if you want to talk about variance, why are you talking about selectively between the southern states and the Hindi belt states? Why aren't you talking the difference between the state of Kerala and the state of Telangana? Let's talk about Karnataka, another state where the BJP is not there. On average, 21 lakh people are represented by one MP, which is a 22% increase from Kerala, where 16 lakh people on average are represented by one MP. So this whole north-south divide is selective amnesia by selected economists, because they want you to believe that this is somehow south versus north. This is not about south versus north. This is about state versus state. A state can share a border and still have quite the divergence when it comes to the number of people represented by one single MP. And this is exactly the problem delimitation tends to solve. Now, point number 3, Mr. Mehrotra says that the composition of the commission is now a Supreme Court judge, the Chief Election Commissioner, and the State Election Commissioner. Now, nothing has changed. It was the same case in 1952, 62, 73, and even in 2001. So what has really changed under the Modi government? Absolutely nothing. But Mr. Mehrotra in his speech says, oh, we now know how this Chief Election Commissioner is compromised and leaning towards the BJP. One can make the same accusation about the author, that his analysis is compromised. Do we take it as the gospel truth? Absolutely not. So the truth here is, Pranesh, that the composition of the commission has also not changed. Now, Mr. Mehrotra made one interesting point. He said you already have a census coming up, so why are you going by the old census? He's probably not read the bill carefully for all his studies in the United States. The bill says that the commission will be constituted from time to time. So once you have the new census, there is no absolutely restriction on constituting a new delimitation commission. So this is not a onesie. It can be done again. So he might keep laughing, but he needs to read the bill very, very carefully. So at the end of the day, Pranesh, this is just fear-mongering being sold as some reformed economic analysis. But at the end of the day, it's all hogwash. It's all fear-mongering. It makes absolutely no sense.
Okay. Let me bring in Sanju Verma. Now, Sanju Verma, before you start, I'm sure you've heard Dr. Mehrotra. He has one question. He says that if you say that 2011 is not there in the bill, where is this 50% formula part of the bill? That is one question. But before that, I quickly want to, put this on record for Dr. Mehrotra and for everyone who's watching this, that the current seats, 543 in the Lok Sabha, this was frozen in 1971. Take two states, for example. Dr. Mehrotra was talking about, injustice, proportion, etc. Kerala has a population of 3.5 crores. The GDP contribution is 3.8%. It has 20 Lok Sabha seats. And then you look at Haryana. Haryana has a population of 3.1 crores. The GDP contribution is 3.6%, but has 10 Lok Sabha seats. Will the Congress explain, how this was done, and is this justice, injustice? Sanju Verma.
Pranesh, first and foremost, let's get a few facts right. And on a lighter note, Mr. Mehrotra teaches in the United States. I've worked for the biggest global American giant, JP Morgan, as a director. So that's for credentials. Now let's come to the moot point. The moot point is this. Delimitation is not about an increase in Lok Sabha seats based purely on increase in population in a given state. Delimitation is also about demographic composition. Delimitation basically decides on number of seats for every state in the Lok Sabha based on something called population ratio. That is the buzzword, population ratio, which basically means that by and large, you have to take a population of 20 lakh per constituency, and then based on that, arrive at a mathematical formula which also gives representation to scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. And then after that, the logic of proportional representation kicks in to a limited extent. And after all these factors, you come to a formula whereby you decide that yes, despite a 3.5 crore population in Kerala, it has 20 Lok Sabha seats. Whereas, despite a 13.5 crore population in Maharashtra, it only sends 48 seats to the Lok Sabha. If we have to go purely by proportional representation, then if Kerala can send 20 MPs to the Lok Sabha with a 3.5 crore population, Pranesh, Maharashtra by that logic should be sending how many? 77 Lok Sabha MPs to the parliament. But Maharashtra sends how many? Only 48. So is delimitation only about population? No. Is delimitation only about proportional representation? No. Delimitation is about population ratio. That is my first point. And my final point is this. Delimitation is not about North versus South. In fact, forget about the 50% formula. Even if I take the 2011 as a reference point, the number of seats from southern India will go up from 129 to 170, which is a 31% increase. And if I go by the 50% formula, the number of seats from South India will go up from 129 to 195, which is a 51.1% increase. So whether you take 2011 as the reference point, whether you take the 50% formula, the number of seats for Southern India will increase by anywhere between 31% to 51% vis-a-vis the current tally of 129. So how are Southern states being marginalized or being treated unfairly? Arithmetic logic, I have substantiated my argument.
We'll put that to Mr. Rajshekharan, Krishank, also Tariq Khan is here. But I want to hear what Dr. Mehrotra has to say to Tushar and Sanju Verma's argument. Yes, sir. Sir, I think you're on mute, sir.
What I was asking you, Pranesh, is what exactly do you want me to respond to, Pranesh?
Sir, because Tushar said that, you know, your assumptions in the piece that are flawed, and Sanju Verma is saying that whichever base you take, this will not be an injustice to southern states.
Well, I think we'll have to sit down together. You can't resolve this in a TV show. I'm sorry, especially when you have 7 panelists. And I think you are being unfair to Rajshekharji, Ashwini Mishra, the BRS and the SP. So, you know, I can respond to all of them in writing, and if you let me know what their emails are.
Okay. Okay.
Don't go ha 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 ha. Don't go ha ha ha. Because I can.
So that's very kind of you that you're allowing someone else to speak.
So, and I can respond to you just now, okay?
But Dr. Mehrotra, if you speak with the, mic muted, then I wonder what you teach in the United States. It's not going to work anywhere, sir. Forget the US. But let me bring in Mr. Rajshekharan. Mr. Rajshekharan, Mehrotra Saab keh rahe hain ki, there is injustice to the southern states, also to panelists who haven't spoken. Please go ahead, sir.
Pranesh, hope you are neutral and unbiased, because you are an anchor. You should not take sides. So, coming to this delimitation, it is the attack on the federal structure of the constitution. It is direct attack on the southern states. It is the direct attack in the guise of women reservation bill. You are trying to project as if BJP, RSS government at the center is going to be the savior of women of this country, which is not true. And the fact of the matter is, it is against the OBCs, it is against the interest of the welfare of the state, especially in Tamil Nadu, Kerala, West Bengal. Of course, even West Bengal I should add, though it is not from southern state. Karnataka, and Andhra and Telangana. Because for the simple reason, you are trying to project that southern states are not even affected, which is not fair, because the direct beneficiary is UP and the northern belt, because Hindi speaking belt, only to safeguard the interest of RSS BJP agenda. This delimitation, what
now, Mr. Rajshekharan, now let me ask you one question before you go ahead. In the beginning you said, I have to be fair. You think Dr. Mehrotra will come on a show who's anchored by someone who's not fair? So that answers your question. His presence is my certificate. Now let me ask you this. You are saying that UP is the biggest beneficiary. Mr. Rajshekharan, sir, please, beg your indulgence. Simple question. You are saying UP is the biggest beneficiary ruled by the BJP. Sir, tell me, according to the seat allocation right now, 543 seats, UP has about 80 seats. The Congress made this. The Congress was in power then. Why did they do this? Why did they not give 80 seats to Tamil Nadu?
See, if you are going to, if you are going to drag Congress in this debate, I'll tell you a simple reason. You are going to start this delimitation process bill on the basis of 2011. When your government, your government with the BJP government, it was Mr. Vajpayee ji who had said only delimitation, the census starts in 2026, which has already started. Wait for a couple of years. What hurry? What is, you're in power, you have somehow vote chori or whatever chori. I'm not going into the merits of that matter. Some chori you're doing, you're sitting in power, you're going to be there in power for another 3-4 years. And after that, God only knows what is going to happen. Why hurry? Why are you pushing everything?
I don't think even Dr. Mehrotra is impressed by what you've said. Let's Tariq Khan, why are opposition parties saying that this is designed to benefit the BJP or to states that are ruled by the BJP?
No, if we try to understand what is happening, so Mr. Amit Shah always talk about chronology samajhiye. So BJP government themselves said that this all will happen. First there will be a census, then delimitation, then women reservation bill will be there. Implement women reservation bill. Now, why they themselves promise that they'll do all those things? Why they are breaking all those things? Why they are in between saying no, that whether we are completed with the census, what is the current situation of census, and census is directly correlated with caste-based census, which is the demand of the whole opposition, and BJP promised that, and you are bypassing all those things. And we should wait. And where is the data? On which data? Everybody has talked about population and population ratio. On which data everything will be based?
Two hands going up. Sanju Verma, Tushar, in that order. Yes.
First and foremost, very quickly to Mr. Rajashekharan. You call yourself a lawyer and you make a mockery of India's elected mandate given to Prime Minister Narendra Modi by bringing in the concept of vote chori. We are not discussing your so-called vote chori rants. We are discussing delimitation. So syllabus par baat kariye. The second point I want to make is this. Let's look at what Revant Reddy said. He's one of the taller leaders of the Congress. He's the sitting chief minister of Telangana, which has an economy size of 18 lakh crore. Revant Reddy says, let delimitation and number of seats in Lok Sabha be decided by two things. One, the population, and two, he says, how we have performed economically, the GSDP numbers. So if I have to take Revant Reddy's argument, let me not take the BJP's argument, let me take what Revant Reddy has said. Even by that logic, even by Revant Reddy's logic, if we actually put in place economic parameters as one of the yardsticks for deciding which state will send how many members to the Lok Sabha, Telangana ka kya haal hoga? Telangana has a debt of 8.3 lakh crore. Karnataka ka kya haal hoga? It has a debt of more than 10.6 lakh crore. Tamil Nadu ka kya haal hoga? It has a debt of more than
Tushar, do you want to answer what Tariq Khan raised?
I'll answer 2-3 questions together. पहली चीज सब कह रहे हैं उत्तर प्रदेश के और बिहार के स्टेट्स को बेनिफिट होगा तो भाजपा को बेनिफिट होगा. Have they all forgotten that the biggest dent to the BJP into 2024 Lok Sabha elections actually came from Uttar Pradesh? Why are they already assuming that BJP is always going to sweep Uttar Pradesh? What kind of mentality is this? We just saw in 2024 how BJP was hit so badly by the Samajwadi Party. And here we have Tariq Khan who's saying delimitation is bad. Tariq bhai, 120 seats in UP, if the 1.5 or 50% formula is imposed, the Samajwadi will also have more seats to contest on, more representation in the long run. Why would the Samajwadi oppose delimitation is honestly beyond me. Number two, everyone is saying a census is coming, a census is coming. Go back to history, 1950, 1960, 1970s. Every time a census happened, a new delimitation commission was constituted. It's not a onesie, it's not a permanent one-time commission. It can be constituted again on the basis of census.
Tariq Khan has another question, and
Listen,
then I'm renewing Prashant.
I have to put something like that. कि हमें fundamentals को समझना चाहिए. If we have that SIR exercise, that is the basic. After SIR exercise, we have election. And SIR exercise is the basic according to the Election Commission. Now, when we talk about this delimitation, census is the basic exercise. So, we have done with basic exercise or not? This question should be answered.
Sanju Verma, specific question.
Pranesh ji, Tariq Khan has raised a valid question. I want to just say one thing to him. Please read Article 82 and Article 170 and Article 243B, the amendments made to that by the Modi government. Article 82 and Article 170 clearly state that while delimitation will be done by the Delimitation Commission, there is no chronology that bhai pehle census hoga, phir delimitation hoga, uske baad women's reservation 33% बढ़ाया जाएगा.
तारिक भाई ने एक बहुत फंडामेंटल क्वेश्चन पूछा कि देखिए 2011 का सेंसस तो 15 साल पुराना है. तो तारिक भाई जस्ट डीलिमिटेशन पर आज तक सीट्स फ्रोजन है. वो 1971 का सेंसस था, वो तो 55 साल पुराना है. आपको 15 साल के पुराने सेंसस से प्रॉब्लम है, पर 55 साल पुराने सेंसस पे जिसपे लोकसभा सीट्स का नंबर फ्रीज हो रखा है, उससे आपको कोई प्रॉब्लम
नहीं है. बिकॉज इट वाज डन बाय द कांग्रेस पार्टी दैट cared about democracy. They imposed emergency. They were the real saviors of constitution, which is why they don't have a problem with that. Now, Prashant hasn't spoken. Please. Prashant, what is your view on, what you've heard and the debate around delimitation and women's quota?
Well, Pranesh bhai, thank you firstly that finally Telangana got an opportunity to talk. I've been waiting for a lot of
I'm
time.
so sorry.
See, one thing is, if you say 2011 is assumption, simultaneously, let us also presume that 50% is also an assumption because that is also not there on the bill. But what is there in the bill? The bill has that 850 members will be raised. Now, what is the parameter is the question, because you haven't done your population census yet, but you've already come up to a conclusion to the numbers. How is it possible? I mean, you're talking about ratio, you're talking about population census, but shouldn't you come to the figure, to the conclusion of the race after you do a population census, number one? Sir, I want to talk practically. If you bring a 850 members of House, we've already been facing, the prime opposition takes Pegasus for 2 sessions, they take Adani for 3 sessions, they take many other issues. When will our states actually come for a debate? एक साल में 1-2 बार हमको मौका मिलता है कि हमारे स्टेट के बारे में बात करें. Be it South India.
Rahul Gandhi has put out a message today. He says this is Hisa Chori. Hopefully he will, raise something in parliament. Are you not hopeful?
See, this is not about Rahul Gandhi. This is not about Congress, Bharatiya Janata Party. I am speaking here on behalf of Telangana and South India, and how we've seen how the House with the current members itself, how it has not addressed our issues. Our AP Reorganization Act has never been debated. So tomorrow, if you raise it to 850, how will we get a chance? That's why we
Tushar.
I want to ask the BRS, Prashant here. Telangana has approximately 20 lakh people representing 1 MP. Kerala has 16 lakh. You do not want the people of Telangana to have better representation in the parliament? You are worried that your issues won't be raised, but you are not worried that your people are underrepresented in the parliament on a national level. Why aren't you talking about that? Why are you looking at delimitation only from the prism of the number of Lok Sabha members, not from the prism of the population they represent in your state, which you are concerned about? And the same question I had to Tariq Khan also, that he is worried that the number will increase. Doesn't he realize that UP, a state of 20 crore people, needs at least 120 people to represent them? आप कह रहे हो नंबर बढ़ जाएगा, वो गलत है. आपको इस चीज की चिंता है. आपको इस चीज की चिंता है कि आपके
states completely about clarity of data. Clarity of data is
clarity of data. Sanju Verma,
it's not there.
You know, the opposition
and country and
is
opposition
asking
one to know what
fundamental
is
question. Where is this 50% formula? Why is it not part of the bill? It will end the confusion.
You know, Pranesh, one thing which nobody here has clarified, which I would like to do at the fag end of the debate. 2011 is only a reference point. It's not cast in stone. 850 is the upper threshold. 850 is also not cast in stone. But I will just take off from what Tushar said. We have had a census in 1951, 1961, 1971 and 2011. After which we had delimitation exercise in 1952, 1963, 1973 and 2002. 24 सालों तक कोई delimitation exercise नहीं हुआ और 2011 से लेकर अब तक सेंसस कभी हुआ नहीं. तब किसी को कोई दिक्कत नहीं थी. अब लोगों को
नहीं तो ये जो नहीं हुआ उस पे डॉक्टर मेहरोत्रा ने कहा कि आपकी सरकार थी, आपके प्रधानमंत्री थे जिन्होंने आगे पुश कर दिया.
नहीं तो अभी हम जो कार्य करने जा रहे हैं उसमें बाधा डालने की जरूरत क्या है, उसमें रोड़े डालने की जरूरत क्या है. जस्ट 10 सेकेंड्स मोर. उत्तर प्रदेश का नाम बार बार आया. प्रदेश, वन फाइनल पॉइंट. यू नो सबसे ज्यादा डिस्क्रिमिनेशन किस स्टेट के साथ हुआ है? उत्तर प्रदेश. If with a 3.5 crore population, Kerala sends 20 members to Lok Sabha, by that logic, with a 25 crore population, Uttar Pradesh should send at least 143
Tariq Khan is
MPs.
responding to you, ma'am.
Something, miss, one thing which BJP promised to the nation is that if something wrong done by Congress, they'll repeat the same. This is the promise BJP made to the nation. You have said BJP or Congress done this.
But I don't
you
think
are
the
there
Congress
to correct
is conceding
this.
that they did anything wrong. Let's ask Ashwini ji. Ashwini ji, did the Congress make a mistake?
Pranesh, the problem with the Bharatiya Janata Party is they speak half truth and hide their lies. I'll explain just now what Sanju ji has said. Sanju ji was having an objection to this vote chori narrative, but recently we debated on a panel that election commission envelope had Bharatiya Janata Party seal onto it. So we understand the kind of collusion election commission and BJP has together. Sanju ji also spoke about the debt on Karnataka and Telangana government, but she did not spoke about the per capita income or the debt versus GDP ratio where Rajasthan, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh.
छोड़ दीजिए, मैं तो आपसे पूछ रहा हूं. I gave an example of Kerala versus Haryana. I told, I gave the GDP number. Let me put that to Dr. Mehrotra because, he understands numbers. Dr. Mehrotra, correct me if I am wrong, sir. And I'm asking this sincere question. If you were to just look at two states, Kerala, Haryana, what I said about the population and the number of seats, is that fair? And people who did this, the party in power then, was this done deliberately to, hurt the people of a state? Was there some, was some mischief behind this move?
Pranesh, let's just go back to history. And my memory, you see, Haryana had barely just come into existence in the early 1970s, and it had been a part of the Punjab. It still shares a capital of Chandigarh between the two of them. The point I'm making is that it is a state which had a relatively small population carved out of a relatively small population of Punjab. By comparison, Kerala was constituted way back in 1956 by bringing together the Travancore state and the other state. I'm forgetting what and the other. So this was the other part.
I get that. I understand what you're trying to say, Dr. Mehrotra. But one final point, sir. If we were to take population as the base, as you are suggesting in your argument, then if UP gets a disproportionate amount of seats, disproportionate by because the opposition says or feels this is disproportionate, would that be fair?
Pranesh, let me just say that Haryana has a much smaller population than Kerala. Kerala has a population of over 30 million. Haryana is much smaller, which is the reason why its population, that seat numbers is smaller. And by and large, in 1971, when the seats were allocated on the basis
Sir,
of...
Kerala's population is 3.5 crore, has 20 seats. Haryana's population is 3.1 crore, has 10 seats. But we'll have to leave it at this because, for want of time. I thank all of you. Dr. Mehrotra, very kind of you to have, sat through the debate. Thank you, Sanju Verma, all gentlemen, for joining us.